Okay, we're gonna keep this nice and simple today. Now I know I haven't posted a video in a while, and I know a lot of people have been waiting, slash complaining, where has he gone? Where has he gone? All right, but today's your lucky day. Gonna post a market update so we can see what's going on. See, trading view only gives me about 20 minutes, so I've got to fit all the information you need to know in 20 minutes. So that's not a lot of time. So let's get going. First of all, we're just gonna review our trades for the week. So as of Monday. We had Monday levels that we were watching for, and lo and behold, most of them came into fruition. So we'll just quickly see how they played out. Well, we were looking at the following. Well, on a Monday, we said we got this nice deviation from the range low. We've had market structure trending upwards in a bull pattern, high, 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 low, high, 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 low, high, high. We had a first transition in market structure bearishly, which came close, all right, to reaching this level. This is a key liquidity point that we're looking to run. Not only was it a key liquidity point, it was also a point that was coupled with a 24-minute demand zone. Now, this is a massive, massive POI for us. So ideally, what I wanted to see was to get a nice third tap, a nice three tap Trinity Model 1 into this zone before we, rocketed up. However, we didn't quite get that, but we were prepared for that. How were we prepared for that? Well, we said that, hey, market structure doesn't have to come for that third tap. It can flip structure here bullishly. And if it does flip structure here bullishly, we're going to be looking to enter on that retracement play. Ideally, we want to see a nice deep retracement. As it says, look, it says need deep retrace before we carry on further up. Now, that was trade number one. Now, in my opinion, that is probably the higher confidence trade. That's the trade that aligns with the swing primary market structure. Obviously, we are in a range and we have to be aware of that. Now, not only did we get that trade, we also got this internal trade, which you may not be able to see, but internally, we were looking for a flip in market structure. If we reclaimed that 82.7, we would have been looking for a deep retracement and a continuation simply up to this range high. Did we get that? Yes, we did. Did we get a nice confirmation? In my opinion, no, we did not. All right, so we'll just play it to see how that went. Okay, so from the time of the post, we did get a nice break in structure. We can't really see it here. We got a deep retracement, really deep retracement, and then we headed up for that range high. So that would have been a successful trade. Now, not only did we get that, upon the break-in of this accumulation zone, as we can see, we got a nice flip in market structure here. We got a deep retracement here again for a continuation up. Okay, so 2 out of 2 off of Monday trade. So no reason why you should be in losses for the week. Now, I know that's quite hard to follow, so I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about with regards to those two trades. So trade number one was fairly straightforward. And what I mean by that is we were headed towards our zone here. But let's use the bar replay tool because that is our best friend right now. The bar replay tool. So hey, look, we had this range. Okay, we were heading low towards our level here. We realized that yes, we had this liquidity point we didn't quite tag yet, which is, in my opinion, quite annoying because I think we would have gotten more definite, easier trade if we actually tagged this zone or if we dipped into this demand zone. Did we do either of those? No, we did not. Okay, but what did we do? Well, if we follow the structure on the way down, this is the structure. Let's say on a 10-minute. We had high, low, 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 high, low, 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 high. Gosh, it feels like a long time I've said this because I haven't done a video in a long time. Now, I am usually trading in the background. I am usually giving you posts and giving you the levels to watch. Now, I do know for a lot of beginner traders, the video is invaluable. And I also recognize that it's just nice, to understand what's actually going on as far as the video explanations. But life calls. My life is quite busy at the moment. It's got exceptionally busy and it's made it so difficult to post these videos. Now, I will try to increase the frequency. So instead of going, cold turkey, I'm going to try and post maybe once or twice a week. But keep an eye out for the early morning updates. The early morning updates are the trades I'm going to enter. They're the trades you should be entering as well if you want to make profit that day. Okay, so here we go. So we've had our structure on the way down. Why am I looking for the structure on the way down? Well, I realize that this entire region is a range. Not only is it a range, it's a range giving us a nice curve of liquidity here. Look at this nice pull, this curve coming all the way down. These are all stop losses waiting to get run. And that's the juiciness we like to see before we enter a trade. Okay. So now there is one more annoying thing, and the keen-eyed amongst you guys will be knowing, or the people I teach know exactly what I'm talking about. The reason this is slightly annoying, and the reason I actually did not enter this trade is very simple. If this is your range, all right, that means your 50% mark, which is right around here. This is your equilibrium of your range. Okay, let's just make that 50%. So we're going to make that nice and thick as well, yeah? So this is your equilibrium of your range, all right? Usually, what do? You short in premium and you long in discount. Now, check this. Our market structure in purple goes low, 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 high, low, 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 high, low, low. That means our last level on the 10-minute before we can justify a long trade is for that level to break. Where is that level? At 82.7. Now, am I going to enter a long at 82.7, all right, simply to target 83.4? Not in a million years. Not in a million years. Now, if we were to get something like this where price came, created one more, lower low, maybe another lower high, then a lower low, then broke structure like this, giving us a nice juicy break here, yes, I would have entered that trade. Why? Because we're entering that trade in discount, and that's what we like to do. Long in discount, short in premium. So what that meant is that it's already starting to put me off. It's starting to make me think, do you know what? Maybe this is the one it might work, but I definitely do not want to enter this because the risk to reward just isn't in my favor. So just watching how this went. So when was this anyways? This would have been Monday, yesterday. So yesterday, London Open. Okay. So we'll be watching this trade. Now, we did come to this zone. However, we did not sweep this level. So the level we set at 150, we didn't quite sweep it at 11 o'clock. If we swept it again, that would have made from higher confidence play. That would have been a nice trade. And I was waiting for that zone. But regardless, this is the key pivotal level we're watching. Now, price came, and what did price do? Price wicked that structure. Well, this is a tricky one. Why is it a tricky one? Because look, if you're looking to say this is a potential break in structure, well, let's go to this is 15 minutes. If you're looking to say this is a potential break in structure, and by potential break in structure, I mean this here. Now, technically, yes, it is. It is. Why? Because this bar at 1345 has a candle body close that is higher than that bar, which is fine. That's fine. Yes. However, when you see this, this should fill you with a little bit of concern. You should be raising your eyebrow, thinking, yes, it is a break, but is it a decisive break? All right. Now, in this case, it actually worked out quite well. It was a break on a 15-minute. It was a break on a 10-minute. It was a break on the 5-minute, a more notable break on the 5-minute. However, this was another reason why I didn't quite enter this trade. I didn't quite pull the trigger convincingly. Why? Because even though these were breaks on these higher time frames, let's say if we go up to the 30-minute time frame, you might well see that it's looking more of an SFP. Okay, see, there you go. So on a 45-minute, you can see it's just a wick. Now, why is this problematic? Because when you observe things like this, it is likely price can simply just rotate all the way down, creating this as a weak low. That can happen. I've seen that happen time and time again. All right. So that's why I was a tiny bit hesitant with that trade. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, hey, yeah, we got into another trade. But no. So we're going to look and learn from the markets day by day. So here we have, what perceptually was actually a break, but you had reason to be cautious. But anyways, let's consider it as a break. So on a 10-minute, what happens then is you get that deep retracement, really deep retracement. Okay, so if you were feeling a bit risky, looking to enter this trade, your retracement came around here, and then you powered through. So where would you have entered this trade if you looked to enter? You would have entered this trade probably around there. Now, I'm going to do a bit of an investigation to see, could we have had a more refined entry? What I mean by that is, did we get a nice confirmation that would have at least made the risk to reward slightly more manageable? So in order to do that, I'm simply going to drop down to lower time frames. I'm checking to see on this retracement leg down, did we get nice definite structure that allowed me to enter this trade. Now I'm all the way down to the 2 minute and I can't see anything yet. Nothing yet. Okay. All right. So now we've got more definite structure on the 2 minute. It's on the 1 minute. All right. Let's see the 2 minute. Yeah. So I wouldn't really go to the 1 minute for this. But if we're analyzing the structure on the way down, it looks like this. We've got low, 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 high, low, 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 high, low, 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 high, low, low, bang. Then you get the break. Now this is your tail. This is your tail sign. All right. This is your symbol to say, cool, this retracement is in order. Where could you have entered this trade? Most likely at that bar close there. Where could you have put your stop loss? Potentially here. If you wanted to be more safe, you would have to cover that low. So all the way down there. So you can quickly see that the risk to reward here, it's not looking good, man. It's not looking good. Look, it's 1-to-1. It's a 1-to-1 trade. You're gonna risk 10 grand to make 10 grand. Doesn't make sense. Makes no sense. All right, so that's why I was hesitant with that one. So as a result, I said to myself, well, forget that trade. I'm actually gonna wait. I'm gonna wait to get the range break, the bigger range break, the accumulation range break. And what I mean by that is, as we said, if this whole thing is a range, let's get rid of this now, just to tidy up what's going on. Yes, we got that 5/10 minute break, but that's fine. If this whole thing is a range, we're looking to see if we can lose this level here. Now, if we were to lose this level here, all right, then we were in. If we go up, come down, and then carry on, we're in. And that's exactly what happened. Now, it didn't happen without a little bit of resistance. What I mean by that is we had a first attempt on the way up. It didn't quite work. Okay. However, even though it didn't work, we still didn't get confirmation for a short. I know some of you would have been looking for a short here, but there was no market structure based reason as to why you should have entered a short. Actually, I tell a lie. I tell a lie. If we look on the 10 minute, we can see a slight market structure break here. So let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this just to tidy this up. I'm aware that, you guys need to make sense of what's going on. Now, on the 10 minute, we did get a flip here. Let's reduce that again. We did get a flip here. Again, it was a flip, but, a short flip. Now, let's say you did take that trade. You got a flip. Now, you got the retracement, nice deep retracement into this supply zone. You put your stop loss down here. Okay, it were at 1.5. Not. I wouldn't enter that. I really would not enter that trade. Okay, and also not only will I not enter that trade, as soon as market structure starts to do what we can see here, where we've got low, 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 high, low, 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 high, low, low. Okay, we create SFP of that level. Now we come back, and then we end up breaking that level back up. That right there is your confirmation to get the hell out of that trade. That is your confirmation to get the hell out of that trade. Now, yes, you could have milked out maybe a 1x out of that, but the moment you see that, especially when you see this bar close at 310, you need to get the hell out of that trade. Okay. Now, this is why I preach to you guys all the time. If you don't understand market structure, how do you know when to enter? How do you know when to exit? How do you know when to TP? How do you know when the market is in your favor? You do not. You're trading blindly, which is fine. Some people like to trade blindly. That's completely fine. All right. Now, again, yes, we had that first attempt at the high. Okay, we came back down to the equilibrium level, and then we had the second attempt at high. You can see that I was now waiting for this level as my decisional point for that breaking structure. I'm no longer looking at that level to break. I'm looking at this level to break. Okay, so let's see what price did. This was this morning, actually. This was this morning. This is what I did this morning. So at this point, I said, right, we've got this nice break now. That's exactly what I want to see. So at this point, I said, cool. Because we've had this break, where is market structure likely to allow me to enter that next continuation from? Well, hey, it can either happen here at this 10-minute zone, 15-minute zone, or this 30-minute zone. I mapped those out. I didn't quite post it this morning because I didn't know, actually. I should have posted it, but I didn't post this one. But we were saying, right, I was thinking, well, we're going to end up getting a nice reaction from the zone. Now, funny thing happened today. Didn't quite tag the first one. Didn't quite tag the second one. All right. it just came all the way back down to the third one and then powered through. So I'm quickly just going to show you how that transpired. We went bang, quick move down, bang, and up. All right, just kind of like a nice dip. Now maintaining that higher time frame structure. What's the higher time frame structure? Low, 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 high, low, low. Okay, now a break-in structure, a retracement, and a continuation. Simple as. Now, what made me look for that continuation play? What made me think, right, what chances are, I'm not gonna lie to you though. This is another quite difficult trade to catch. Let's see. On a 5 minute, did we get a reconfirmation? Did we get an entry? Not necessarily. There's nothing in this block. Nothing here would have made me enter that trade. Nothing there. All right. Here, what about this 15-minute zone? Nothing here would have made me enter that trade. And if I'm being perfectly honest, um, if I'm being perfectly honest, nothing here would have made me enter that trade either, unless the only thing that would have made me have a little bit more confidence in this zone, and I'm going to show you what that is the fact that it was the last demand zone in this range. All right, it's literally the only place we could react from, and not just that, it's also where our POC was coming from. So if we take our volume profile to see where most people have traded in this little accumulation zone, we can see that our point of control is coming in that red line at that zone. That's telling me that zone is a juicy zone. That's exactly what we came for. We tagged that point of control, and then we headed back up. All right, so very nice. And that's kind of it today. That I think that was the trade of the day, right? But it was a trade that, in my opinion, is quite hard to catch, right? So don't beat yourself up if you didn't get that move. I have a friend who caught a trade. I think he said he caught a trade at 4 o'clock in the morning. So he's on Asia timing. So I think it was around here. He entered along around here. So that looks like he just entered based on this flip in this zone. Okay, so anyways, if you got in there, well done. If you didn't, it's fine. There'll be more trades for you to take. Now, what filled me with confidence that we were going to be entering along today? Well, hey, let's zoom out to the higher time frames. If we look at the higher time frames, this looks really messy at the minute. So I'm going to come to a fresh chart. No, fresh. That's not fresh. Let's see if we can find a fresh chart. That's also not fresh. Okay, let's go to this one. I think we have a fresh one here. Yep. Okay, so we have this fresh chart. I'll just quickly get rid of this Bollinger Band. All right, so here we go. What made me think, oh, we might be coming for that zone there? Get rid of that line. Well, the reason I thought, yes, this might be a place to react is, well, as we can see, our structure looks as follows. We've got high, 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 low, high, high. Okay. Now, this is the higher time frame structure. Ultimate higher time frame structure. Now, we did have this massive range. Okay, let me go on a higher time frame so this looks more manageable for you guys. I'll get rid of this. This is some notes from a one-to-one lesson I had earlier. Now look, we have that old zone. Okay, chances are, if prices created a high, 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 low, high, high, we just could be coming in, all right, for another high, low before we carry on up for a high, high. Okay. Now, not just that. If we look closely at this zone, now I know many of you don't have Market Cipher, but Market Cipher has already started telling us this is potentially a reaction point. Why is it a reaction point? Where we have a tiny bit of demand here, okay, which we've reacted from, we've tagged. If you did investigation, I'm sure there is a zone in there. There is a 1 bar demand zone in there that you can definitely see. And not only have we got that, we've got a nice divergence coming on. Look, price is creating low lows. Our momentum wave is creating high highs. Our money flow is curving up. That is a tell sign that, hey, we're about to get a nice transition here. And this is happening on a daily. So in my opinion, this could actually be the move that takes us all the way back to 110. It could be the move because this is a higher time frame divergence. If this plays out, I'm pretty sure we're headed back up. Okay, now this divergence not only happened on a daily, on a 4 hour, we can see it still on a 4 hour here, we can see it there. Now, not only do we see it here on this 4 hour, we also see it here again. Can we see this now? we see prices creating our lower lows and our momentum's creating a juicy zone. All right, juicy divergence, and we've got these two dots there as well. Okay, so I know not everyone trades market cipher, but if you don't, I'd recommend you grab it. All right, so that's what tells me, hey, this could be a big move. Now, a lot of beginner traders, especially if they're counter trend traders, they think once they have missed the first move, they are done for. All right, they wait and wait and wait, and then they watch. This is basically what happens. All right, so they're watching this zone for reaction. Price comes, okay. All right, they get that flipping market structure here because they missed this entry here. Because they missed this entry here for whatever reason, okay. Let's say they were targeting all the way up there. Because they missed this entry there, they are really upset, okay. And then they wait and watch price do all of this. They watch price as it goes up, okay, and they're unhappy. Well, that's not what we do here. What we do is we realize that, hey, if this is the target of our trade, okay, we're going to look for longs here. We're going to look for longs here. We're going to look for longs here. We might be a bit more hesitant as we come up to this zone because we're so close to the target, but this is a chance to get along. This is a chance to get along. That's another chance to get along. And I guarantee you, sometimes the risk to reward coming out of a trade like this, okay, is way better than it could be if you actually got the initial trade in the first place. And I kid you not. Okay. So having that at the back of your mind and realizing that's the potential as far as playing what we're playing right now. See, we're already in a 20-minute mark. All right. But I haven't done a video in a long time. So I want to see if I can stretch this. I hope it lets me upload it because sometimes it doesn't. But anyways, hey, because we realize that, price can continually go all the way up here. Look, I've put here as this is a 2-hour/4-hour target at 88k because I realize right now, 88k is my target. Guess what I'm looking for? I'm dropping to the lower time frame and I am following this chain all the way up. Okay, I'm following this chain all the way up. And what is that chain? Well, if this is my target, let's say this is where I'm going to end or stop thinking about this long. Okay, we'll get rid of this for now. It's not useful right now because we've done it. Well, look, let's say price gives us another impulse. I'm gonna look into enter that long there, bang. Another impulse. I'm gonna be entering that long there, bang. Another impulse. I'm gonna be entering that long there, bang. So we've got potential maybe 3 impulses before we get to that all-time high. What confirmation am I looking for? Well, as price comes down, I'm going to be looking for a juicy market structure confirmation. So what does that look like? Well, I'm going to be tracing this to see where is price going to flip structure. Does it flip structure here? Bang. As soon as it flips, enter on that retracement, take it all the way up to there. All right. Next continuation pattern. Well, look, I'm going to be watching to see where does price come down? Where do I get a flip? Bang. As soon as I see a flip there, I'm going to be taking back up to there. Okay. So just don't give up when you've got when you've missed that first entry. But you do need to be a bit cautious. If you're entering a long around here, let's say you enter a late long here, all right, just be cautious that if price does rotate from here back all the way down, make sure you put your stop loss down there. Why? Because price could easily come, rotate to this level, take you out here. All right, so let's make this clearer. If you enter the trade here, all right, price is well within its rights, okay, to come all the way back down. So it can come up like this, come all the way back down, stopping you out there, okay, just to carry on in your direction. So make sure you're putting your stop loss there, all right? Or you might want to lag it. Maybe if you're entering here, you put your stop loss there. As soon as price comes to this level, you put your stop loss there. All right, that's just one way you can play this game, but you do have to be flexible with it. That's it for Bitcoin. I will give you a quick. You know what? We'll keep it Bitcoin today. I've been playing around with some other forex pairs today. USD CAD. I've been playing around with that today. Got a juicy trade from this range high. But we'll keep it Bitcoin. Keep it Bitcoin today. But anyways, that's it. That's what I'm looking to do on the way up. You've got the play, you've got the playbook. All you have to do now is execute. So we'll leave it there today. If you're looking for one-to-one lessons on how to trade like this and just how to understand the markets better, don't forget to hit me up, join on Discord, and so forth. We'll leave it there and hope you have a great time trading.